I hope that y'all will go to the back of the room there. That's where the tables are to sign up to be a patron. Thank you for coming.
Okay, I'm here with Chris Crane from the Southern Voice. Thanks for talking to us, Chris.
Happy to do it.
Listen, tell me, why did the Southern Voice step up and become a platinum sponsor of the bid for the Atlanta Gay Games?
Well, we try and get involved in the community anywhere we can see that providing advertising space can make a difference to an organization that needs to reach the gay community here in Atlanta and throughout the South to galvanize them to support whatever they're working on. And the Gay Games people, they obviously have done a tremendous amount of work in preparing the bid for the 2006 Games. And one of the ingredients they needed to make it happen was to be able to reach the gay community in Atlanta and let them know about what they're doing and how they can get involved and how they can support it. And advertising space at Southern Voice was one way to do that.
It's Montreal, Los Angeles, and what was the other? What was the third one that we're competing against?
You put me on the spot. I don't remember.
Chicago. What do you think about those three cities and their competition? What do you think is our largest competition?
Well, I don't know. I think they're all three fantastic cities with great gay communities. From what I understand about what happened the year that Amsterdam won the Gay Games, the Atlanta put on the best bid, but the organizers were determined to hold the event in Europe because it hadn't been held outside of North America. So I'm hoping there's a lot of momentum behind Atlanta because we really did the best bid the last time around. But even if that's not there, the amount of enthusiasm and drive behind the effort this year, I think we have a decent shot at it.
Well, great. Thanks for talking to us, Chris.
Sure. Happy to do it.
You're so damn tall, like a bitch. Thanks for talking to us, Chris.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. How are we doing there? Testing. Good. I'm here with Scott Coors, Director of Quality Control for Coors Incorporated, Coors Brewing Incorporated.
Coors Brewing Company.
You guys are platinum sponsors for the bid, $25,000. That's so nice. Tell me about your involvement with the gay community. How long has Coors been involved in the gay community?
Well, Joey, it's actually been a long time, a lot longer than a lot of people realize. We've had outreaches into the gay community for at least the last 10 years, and we were one of the first corporations to put non-discrimination clauses against sexual orientation into our policies. We have domestic partner benefits. We brought that along about 4 years ago. And
you said tonight that you were taking advantage of that. Does that mean you have a partner already, or are you still single?
No, I have a better half of 3 years, and yeah, so it's pretty exciting. It's kind of a neat turn of events, and I think we're headed the right direction.
So, and the Coors Company is a place that's comfortable for gay and lesbian employees?
Very much so, actually. We have an employee group called Lager, Lesbians and Gay Employee Resource, and we actually have a good group of folks, and that's kind of our mission, to make sure that it's a comfortable workplace.
Have you been to Atlanta before? What do you think about its competing in the bid for the games in the other cities?
Well, I think it's got a very, very good chance. It's got some tough competition out there, but by the looks of this evening, I think it's going to be a success. So I'm excited.
Thanks for talking to us.
Hey, thanks, Joey. Take care.
Thank you. Hey, did Mike tell you about our show? Do you know anything about it?
Half-hour show every.
Yeah, just so you kind of know what you're going to be on. We're kind of a news entertainment magazine, weekly, basically in the Atlanta area, expanding and about to
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Well, thanks. I appreciate it. Absolutely.
How long are you in Atlanta?
I'm here just really until tomorrow morning.
Okay, so it's a quick visit.
Quick trip. Came in last night, got to sample the local establishments. Yes.
Good. What's your favorite?
Well, you know, we went all over. Show we went to. We got the Oscars. Right across the
Perfect. I'm here with Andy Jones, publisher of Atlanta David magazine. Is it Atlanta David or David Atlanta? That's what I thought. Thanks for talking to us.
Sure.
Tell me about David Atlanta's involvement in the bid for the gay games. You guys are a platinum sponsor, so
Right.
you've donated $25,000. That's amazing.
Well, they came to us a few weeks ago and asked us about our sponsorship, and it was a pretty easy decision because the impact for the city, for the gay community, for the magazine, it's incredible to think about it. And after seeing this presentation here tonight, we've got so much talent wrapped up in presenting this, the bid book, and I'm ready to go out there and help in any way that I can. I'm going to be on the advisory board. But I am so excited about it. I've lived here all my life in Atlanta, and nothing will impact the gay community here in Atlanta like this will.
We're so proud of David Magazine. You guys are really stepping out into the community. Can you tell me about what your plans are for the future?
Well, the vision of David Atlanta, for people that don't really know what makes us different, is we want to be a positive influence. We don't print anything or publish anything that's negative. We don't write negative editorials, negative news articles. We want to be a weekly entertainment source in a professional content that doesn't contain anything that's going to make you feel bad about being gay or lesbian. And so we don't do that. And it has made us stand up different from all the other publications. And we've become the #1 publication in this city. We're the fastest picked up publication, I think, because of that, because we are full color glossy.
You guys have a website?
We have a great website, it's davidatlanta.com.
That's where some advertisers can reach you if they're interested in advertising with you.
Where they can reach us, and our issues, we put each issue on the website and the previous issues too, so you can go back and see previous covers and everything on there. Anybody that wants to advertise, they can go to that site and see everything about us.
Great, thanks for talking to us, Andy.
Thank you.
This is paragraph 175, take one. Joey, this is in several takes. That is, we go voiceover, then we go to some interviews, then we go to voiceover graphics, and then some more interviews, and then a close with voiceover. So this is the opening. Take one. An extraordinary new film about gay life in Germany attracted hundreds of moviegoers to Rich Auditorium at Woodruff Arts Center in its first Atlanta showing. Paragraph 175, Germany's infamous 100-year-old anti-sodomy law, was ignored during the 1920s and enforced to Holocaust proportions in the 30s and 40s. Not till it was annulled in the late 1960s, paragraph 175 was used to persecute and imprison gays in both East and West Germany. Go to the interviews here, and then back to the graphics. The 81-minute documentary by award-winning producers, directors, kill that, try it again. Take two. The 81-minute documentary by the team of award-winning producers and directors Rob Epstein and Jeffrey Friedman traces German gay life from Berlin's 1920 cabarets to the Nazi purges of World War II and beyond, with interviews of 10 living gay men and women, most in their 90s. 100,000 male homosexuals were arrested under Hitler, with 15,000 sent to concentration camps where most died. Back to the interviews, and then a short close with graphics. Paragraph 175 is from the producers of The Times of Harvey Milk and The Celluloid Closet, both award-winning documentaries. Paragraph 175 won the 2000 Sundance Film Festival's Grand Jury Prize for the Best Documentary Direction. This is Rob Martin, OutTV Atlanta. Well, thanks, Cassandra. A little bit later, we're going to the memorial. Thanks, Cassandra. A little bit later, we're going to the Art Center for the 2001 winter series of the High at the Film at the High. What in the hell is it called? Films at the High. Thanks, Cassandra. A little bit later, we're going to the Memorial. It's not the Memorial Arts Center anymore, Rob. It's the Woodruff Arts Center. Jesus. Thanks, Cassandra. A little bit later, we're going to the Woodruff Arts Center for the 2001 winter series of Films at the High, and an extraordinary documentary called Paragraph 175. Stay tuned for that one. And back to you, Cassandra.
Cut, and we'll do another later.
Am I on?
Hello, am I on?
Okay. 1, 2. It's fine. Good evening and welcome to another edition of OutTV Atlanta. I'm Cassandra Williams.
And I'm Joey Wills. We're here in Centennial Olympic Park. A little later on in the show, we're going to be showing you how to bring another Olympic event to Atlanta. The 2006 Gay Games we put in a bid for, and we're competing against Montreal, Chicago, and Los Angeles for that bid.
That's right, and we lost the 2002 games to Sydney, Australia. And we're going to get 2006 because it's going to be good for Atlanta.
We are.
Also in tonight's set to another edition of OutTV. Good evening and welcome to another edition of OutTV Atlanta. I'm Cassandra Williams.
And I'm Joey Wills. Today we are in Centennial Olympic Park. We're going to tell you a little later how to bring another Olympic event to Atlanta, and I'm talking about the Gay Games for 2006.
Yeah, we lost the 2002 bid to Sydney, Australia, but we're going to get the 2006.
We are. It'll be great for our community.
Yeah, great. Also, in tonight's show, we're going to have our first gay history lesson.
Okay. Actually, Obi Smith is going to tell us about the father of artificial intelligence.
Good evening and welcome to another edition.
Now, is it right? Okay.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of OutTV Atlanta. I'm Cassandra Williams.
And I'm Joey Wills. Today we're in Centennial Olympic Park. We're going to tell you a little later how to bring another Olympic event to the Atlanta area. Of course, I'm talking about the Gay Games for 2006. We just put the bid in for. We're going to get it.
That's right. We lost the bid for 2002 to Sydney, Australia, but we're going to get the 2006.
We are. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. Also tonight we have our first gay history segment. Oh, Was that okay?
Okay, hold on a sec. Is this one still running? It is? Okay.
OutTV Atlanta correspondent O.B. Smith tells us about the father of... I almost had it.
You know what? We need her looking. I need to have you look from there to there while both of them are on. So
Okay.
if you can say, we're going to have our first history lesson.
We're gonna... Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
On tonight's show, we're gonna have our first history lesson. OutTV Atlanta correspondent O.B. Smith tells us something about the father of artificial. Tells us about the father of artificial.
Intelligence.
Why can't I get that? OutTV Atlanta's correspondent O.B. Smith tells us something about the father of artificial intelligence, Alan Turing.
Yeah, Alan Turing supposedly was the gentleman that cracked the Enigma, which was the code that the Germans had in World War II, and we won the war because of him. He was also persecuted for being a homosexuality and I think jailed for a while.
That's right. I can remember the.
Let's go for it. That's right. A lot of, back into this one.
Okay, and then back into that one.
That's right. A lot of people were
Persecuted.
persecuted by homosexuals.
That's right. A lot of homosexuals were persecuted during World War II, and Rob Smith's going to tell us something about
Rob
that.
Smith? Rob Martin. Okay.
Are you sure I'm not drinking?
No, that's right. A lot of homosexuals were persecuted in World War II. Rob Martin's going to tell us a little bit about it in the movie.
Say that again.
Are we on?
Good evening and welcome to another edition of OutTV Atlanta. I'm Cassandra Williams.
And I'm Joey Wills. We're here in Centennial Olympic Park. We're going to tell you a little later how to bring another Olympic event to Atlanta, and I'm talking about the Gay Games 2006. We have an organization that put in a bid for the Gay Games, and we're going to get it.
That's right. We lost the bid for 2002 to Sydney, Australia, but we're going to get 2006.
It'll be great for our community.
It's going to be great. Also on tonight's show, we have our first gay history lesson. O.B. Smith, right? Okay, sorry.
OutTV Atlanta's O.B. Smith.
OutTV Atlanta, O.B.
Okay,
Smith.
wait, give me a second to not give you direction. Okay, go.
OutTV Atlanta, O.B. Smith brings us a history lesson on the father of artificial intelligence, Alan Turing.
Do that whole thing again.
OutTV Atlanta, O.B. Smith gives us. Why can't I get that? OutTV Atlanta, O.B. Smith gives us a history lesson on the father of artificial intelligence, Alan Turing.
That's it. Okay, can you do it one more time
Yeah,
for
I
me?
think I can. Because I'm relaxing, relax.
And then we're going back to here.
OutTV Atlanta.
Can you put an S on that? Atlanta's.
OutTV Atlanta's O.B. Smith is giving us a history lesson on the father of artificial. OutTV.
Okay, go for it.
OutTV Atlanta, O.B. Smith.
Atlanta's.
OutTV Atlanta's. Okay. OutTV Atlanta's O.B. Smith gives us a history lesson on the father of artificial intelligence, Alan Turing.
Also, we can do something else right after that.
That was pretty good, wasn't it?
Yes, that was it. That was it.
Okay. Woo.
Okay, now just this camera's rolling.
Okay. Alan Turing was the person.
Sorry. Okay, now.
Wait. A lot of homosexuals. Okay.
Can I get in the shade again? Can you scoot over just a sec? Or does it change our view? That's all right. It's all right. It works. Right, Alan Turing was the mathematician who broke Enigma, the Germans' communication code during World War II, and I think that's what caused us to win the war, actually. But he was also persecuted as a homosexual during that time in Germany, and it was awful.
Yeah, during World War II, a lot of homosexuals were persecuted. Rob Smith's going to tell us something about that. Oh, fuck. Rob Martin. Okay. Sorry.
Rob Martin's anybody? That's okay. Right, Alan Turing was a mathematician who actually broke Enigma, which was the German communication code during World War II, and ultimately caused us to win the war. He was also persecuted as a homosexual and imprisoned because it was so awful to be there in Germany as a homosexual during that time.
That's right. During the World War II, a lot of homosexuals were persecuted
Yeah.
because of their sexual preferences. Rob Martin is standing by to tell us something about paragraph 175, which is...
So paragraph 175, a movie that
A movie.
documents gay life in Germany during this time.
Can you take it from there? Paragraph 175.
Yeah.
Rob Martin is standing by to tell us something about paragraph 175, which is a movie that documents...
Gay life. Oh, you were going to do it. Shit. Okay, go for it.
Rob Martin is standing by to tell us something about paragraph 175, which documents gay life during World War II.
Yeah, it's a great film.
It is. The lady?
So we're going to cut, I guess we're going to cut to him there.
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's right.
Okay, and then do your, thanks, Rob, and then I'll say. Okay.
Thanks, Rob.
Okay, let me look at the camera. Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thanks, Rob.
We're also going to see a great interview with, sorry, let's do that again, sorry. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
Also on tonight's show, I have a rare interview with Judy Shepard. She spoke at the Atlanta Executive Network, and I've got a few minutes with her coming right up, you're going to see.
So stay tuned for the show.
Let's do that again, and then I'll say stay tuned for the show.
Okay.
Let's end it, okay. Also on tonight's show, I've got a rare interview with Judy Shepard. She spoke at the Atlanta Executive Network this week, and stay tuned for that. That's coming right up. And enjoy the rest of the show.
That's right. I thought you were going to say that's why I didn't say it.
Let's do it one more time. One more time, that's it, okay?
Thanks, Rob. Okay. I am terrible. Thanks, Rob.
Also on tonight's show,
Probably mine.
is it hers? Okay, hold it.
Oh, that's it. Stand over again. Turn your angle towards him a little more. That's it.
Thanks, Rob.
Also on tonight's show, I have a rare interview with Judy Shepard. She spoke at the Atlanta Executive Network. Stay tuned for that interview and much, much more. Enjoy.
Enjoy.
What do you think?
Okay, and the closing? Thanks for joining us.
That's
Sorry.
our show for tonight.
Okay. Thanks for joining us. That's our show for tonight.
Remember to watch us every night at every night. Okay. Okay.
That would be beautiful. Thanks for joining us.
Catch us every Thursday night at 8:30 on AT&T Broadband, channel 9, 19, or 26.
That's right.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining us. That's our...
Say that's our show for tonight first.
Should I move down?
No, say it first, though.
Okay. That's our show for tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Remember to catch us every Thursday night at 8:30 on channel 9, 19, or 26, AT&T Broadband.
That's right. Good night.
Bye.
Paragraph 175, what did you think?
I thought it was a very fantastic movie. I mean, very, very moving and powerful. I think, it's such an important piece of our history as gay men, lesbians, and it's a history that's about to be lost. I was actually shocked to find out how few survivors that there are still today, and how few would be willing to even share their stories, their pain after all this time.
Was that the most striking thing about it, the few people remaining?
That was one of the things that was most striking about it to me.
What else about the film?
Well, I think certainly, one of the things of this history that I think is so troubling is that, these are men that were put in concentration camps for being openly gay, and yet after the war was over and the concentration camps were liberated, they were then criminalized, and some of these men were criminalized over and over again for homosexuality.
Little known part of Nazi or German history.
A little known part of German history, but actually I think probably a troubling part of European history that has many parallels here in our own country, I'm sure.
Well, thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Well, the emotional scenes where the people were responding, talking about their memories, were pretty strong.
And were there things that you didn't know about this history?
Yeah, to know how broad and systematic the whole thing was, it's pretty frightening.
How about you?
Just thought it was a powerful film. Thought it was a lot of I think what got me were the emotional scenes where people were kind of for the first time maybe sort of talking about some of the things they had dealt with.
Now, did you know that paragraph 175 was continued after the war and in fact wasn't repealed until 1969 in West Germany?
Only from the film did I know that. Yeah, the end of the film when they talked about it.
Scary stuff?
Yeah, pretty frightening.
Think it happened somewhere else? Is that possible?
I hope not now, but certainly makes you more appreciative of the times you live in.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Roger, and you saw this film tonight. What did you think of it?
Oh, it's fabulous. It's very well done.
And what was the most striking thing about it in your mind? Things you didn't know.
Probably how few people are still alive and how many people didn't survive. And it was a very, it's very sad that they, even after the war, it was still persecuted and still in prison, you know, by freedom, you know, and they were free and they weren't free.
You think these German homosexuals should have had some kind of reparation, much like the Jews?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Everybody in the Holocaust should have had you know, everybody.
Have you seen the museum in Washington?
Yes.
And what was your reaction to that?
Oh, it's really heavy. It's really intense.
And the particular
it's very
segment
well
on
done.
homosexuals?
Oh, very small. It was very small. You could easily pass it, but you know, it takes a good 3 hours to go through it, and that's just seeing most of it. You can't see 100% of it. It's so large.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So, what was your reaction to the film?
I was horrified by what I saw. It was appalling, and it was. I tried to put myself in the position of those people, and I couldn't because it was so intense. Just terrifying.
Did you know any of this history?
Very limited history of it. Yeah, I thought it was very, very well done, and excellent. You know, footage of these guys. I'm just glad that their voices are finally being heard.
Right.
I mean, it's just so important.
Should reparations be paid to homosexuals, do you think?
I think, yeah. I think absolutely. I mean, these guys have, you know, carried this burden for their whole lives. I think it would be probably not enough. I mean, money is not going to be enough to, you know.
Was there one particular scene or anything that really hit you hard?
It was mostly in the testimonials, watching the expressions on their faces as they spoke about their experiences. I think it was all very moving.
Right, the man from Alsace who didn't want to talk about it but still had to get it out.
It was just so, it just bubbled up as, you know, he was so angry, and I just saw that anger, and that was very moving, yeah.
Well, thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You just came out of seeing Paragraph 175. What was your reaction?
It brings back a lot of feelings of anger toward a society that I never knew. I have friends whose family suffered from the Holocaust, and I knew that gays and lesbians had been persecuted, but seeing their stories on film brings back a lot of feelings of anger toward a society that I never knew. I have friends whose family suffered from the Holocaust, and I knew that gays and lesbians had been persecuted, but seeing their stories on film
Under the guidance of the Federation of Gay Games, the Gay Games is an athletic and cultural event which brings together people from all over the world without regard to sexual orientation, gender, HIV status, race, religion, political belief, or physical ability. Under the guidance of the Federation of Gay Games, the Gay Games is an athletic event and cultural event which brings together people from all over the world without regard to sexual orientation, gender, HIV status, race, religion, political belief, or physical ability. Fundraising guru and co-chair Scott Hayes gives us a brief history of the Gay Games. The Federation requires 22 core sports to be hosted. These sports include the types of things you would expect to see, such as basketball, cycling, soccer, football, track and field. And in addition to those 22 core sports, the hosting committee is allowed to offer an additional 8 sports within our bid for Atlanta. Within our bid, Atlanta is proposing to add aerobic, beach volleyball, billiards, field hockey, rowing, synchronized swimming, and table tennis. Many of the sports are held in accordance with the rules of the world governing bodies of a variety. Many of the sports are held in accordance with the rules of the world governing bodies of the varying sports. Of the world governing bodies of the various sports. And that allows the game athletes to set official recognized world records. Several world records were set in the Federation requires 22 sports to be hosted. These sports include the types of things that you would expect to see, like basketball, cycling, soccer, football, softball, and track and field. Federation requires 22 core sports to be hosted. These sports include the types of things you would expect to see, such as basketball, cycling, soccer, softball, track and field. Many of the sports are held in accordance with the rules of the world governing bodies for the varying sports, and that allows the game athletes to set official recognized world records. Several world records were set in Amsterdam in the 1998 Gay Games. The guest speaker for this event was Olympian and gold medalist Bruce Hayes. And that allows the gay game athletes to set official recognized world records. Several world records were set in the 1998 Games in Amsterdam. The speaker for this evening's event was Olympian and gold medalist Bruce Hayes. The speaker for this evening's event was Olympian and gold medalist Bruce Hayes. There are real costs associated with bringing an event of this magnitude into our city. 5 major corporations stepped forward to demonstrate their commitment to the Gay Games of 2006. There are real costs associated with bringing an event of this magnitude into our city. 5
Welcome to the Atlanta Games 2006 Patron Party.
We're very excited about the bid that we've all worked so hard to pull together over the last several months.
This is definitely a once-in-a-lifetime chance, so we're glad you're here. The purpose of this evening is to build excitement within our community and also gain more momentum than we already have for the bid process.
Under the guidance of the Federation of Gay Games, the Gay Games is an athletic event and cultural event which brings together people from all over the world without regard to sexual orientation, gender, HIV status, race, religion, political belief, or physical ability. Fundraising guru and co-chair Scott Hayes gives us a brief history of the Gay Games.
The Gay Games are a quadrennial athletic and cultural event held every 4 years. The last time they were held was in Amsterdam in 1998. The Games are based on principles of inclusion, participation, and personal best. The Games bring people together from all around the world, regardless of sexual orientation, gender, religion, political belief, and most importantly, regardless of athletic and artistic ability. The Games are two-part programming, sporting and cultural programming, working together in harmony. Since its inception in 1982, the Games have experienced exponential growth in attendance, the number of events, growth in revenue generated for the host city. The first Games were held in San Francisco in 1982. They had 12 countries represented, 16 events, 1,300 participants, and 50,000 spectators. 4 years later, the Games were held again in San Francisco. 10 more countries were represented. The number of participants doubled to 3,400, with spectators of 75,000. The Games then went truly international and were hosted in Vancouver. A total of 28 countries were represented with 31 events, and again the numbers of participants doubled to 7,300 with 125,000 spectators. In 1994, the next Games were held in New York in conjunction with the 25th anniversary of the Stonewall riots. The 40 countries represented, 11,000 participants, and 1 million spectators viewed the gay games that year. In 1998, the last games that were held, they left the continent of North America for the first time ever and were held in Amsterdam. They had 78 countries represented, nearly 15,000 participants, and 800,000 spectators. In 2002, the next games will be held in Sydney, Australia, first time held in the Southern Hemisphere ever, and we expect the level of participation to be about equal. And then finally, in 2006, what we're all here for tonight, we hope to bring the Gay Games home. Gay Game 7 held in Atlanta, Georgia.
The Federation requires 22 sports to be hosted. These sports include the types of things you would expect to see, such as basketball, cycling, soccer, softball, track and field. Many of the sports are held in accordance with the rules of the world governing bodies for the varying sports. And that allows the gay game athletes to set official, recognized world records. Several world records were set in the 1998 games in Amsterdam. And that allows the gay game athletes to set official, recognized world records. Several world records were set in the 1998 games in Amsterdam. The speaker for this evening's event was Olympian and gold medalist Bruce Hayes.
Thank you. It really is indeed an honor for me to be here tonight. When I finished my Olympic career in 1984, I really felt that I had to retire because in my mind, being a gay man and being an athlete were mutually exclusive terms. They just could not coexist with each other. And I think a lot of people at that time, both gay and straight, felt the same way. And I went 6 years totally removed from swimming, did not participate, did not coach, did not swim masters or anything. And then in 1990, I heard about this thing called the Gay Games, and they were being held in Vancouver, Canada. Had no idea what I was getting myself into. I thought this would just be some little competition, no big deal, a lot of fun, a party, good excuse to go to Vancouver and nothing more. And when I came back, I really was a changed person. And I think if you talk to anybody who's competed in the gay games in any way, shape, or form, they'll tell you the same thing. Because what I found was for the first time in my life, the athlete side of me and the gay side of me came together as one, and it made a huge, huge difference in how I was as a person going forward. It made a difference in my career and my personal relationships. It was very empowering. And there are thousands and thousands of gay men and lesbians out there just like me who've competed in the gay games, and it's changed their life.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the theme and logo for Atlanta Games 2006.
There are real costs associated with bringing an event of this magnitude into our city. 5 major corporations stepped forward to demonstrate their commitment to the Gay Games of 2006.
These platinum sponsors have agreed to contribute $25,000 to our cause and make our dream a reality. That's an incredible commitment to an organization in the bid process. And what I'd like to do is take a few moments, and we're going to recognize those. And I'd first like to introduce Andy Jones, who is publisher of Atlanta David Magazine. Andy?
And this was a very easy decision for David Atlanta Magazine because of the impact that I know it will bring to Atlanta. So I just hope everybody in the room will give their support too in whatever the way that with their talent that they can, because we've sure got the talent in this room. Thank you.
Scott, Southern Voice is proud to be a sponsor of the bid to bring the Gay Games to Atlanta. As you've probably noticed, Southern Voice recently expanded to include a lot of cities around the South besides our fair city. And what you might not know is the newspaper is also available in gay bookstores across the country and across the world, and with the internet, we're everywhere too. So hopefully, with the ads that you're placing in Southern Voice and with the coverage we give to your bid, you'll get the chance to get the word out far beyond our city about the great things that are going on here. You've got the mission right, you certainly put the work into it, and we certainly wish you all the best success.
I'd like to tell everybody a little bit about BV Wines briefly. For those of you that don't know how to pronounce it, it is Beaulieu. It's a French term. It actually means beautiful place. And we are one of 5 wineries that are 100 years or older. and in full operation. And I was telling some folks about that earlier, and they said, well, wait a minute, there's this thing called Prohibition. What did you guys do during that time? And we actually sold wine to the church, so we got around that. But we are really excited about being a part of this cause, so thank you very much.
The event itself is important to the Coca-Cola Company for a lot of reasons, but probably most importantly is it just gives us another way to showcase our world-class brands to the international community. So I thank you for bringing these games to Atlanta. Thank you.
This is a great opportunity, and I have to tell you how thrilled and honored I am to be here. I'll take a quick moment to say that it's probably no secret to all of you or any of you that there's been a checkered past with the Coors Brewing Company and the gay community. And we learned a lot from that about 20 years ago, and we've made a lot of really amazing changes. And I think it's really wonderful that the games have reached out their hand to us, and we've reached out our hand to them, because we are very committed to diversity. The Brewing Company is one of the first Fortune 500 companies to offer domestic partner benefits, and we're real thrilled about that. So I just signed up this January, so I'm excited. So anyway, I just have to say, I think what is so important about the games and what they represent for Atlanta and for Coors as a sponsor is that celebration of diversity and getting people to understand each other rather than fight against each other. And I think that's what the games is all about. And I'm really excited to see that there really is no discrimination based on physical ability and also athletic ability. That means I might actually have a chance. So without further ado, they say corporations have big checkbooks, and they're right, and they're a bitch to get in the overhead bin, but we brought this check to present. Thank you all very much, and I know you're going to succeed.
I want to tell you a little bit about Atlanta Games, Inc. That's who we are here tonight. We often refer to ourselves as AGI. We're a not-for-profit organization organized in the state of Georgia. We have a board of directors representing a good cross-section of the community. There's about 12 members of the board of directors. More importantly, as Ray and Margie pointed out earlier, we also maintain an advisory board with representatives from the cultural, sporting, athletic, business, government industries across the city here in the community. And then finally, we have the steering committee, which is the vital blood of our organization. We have a whole host of committees and subcommittees, such as cultural, sports, transportation, fundraising, technology, volunteer, et cetera. And we have about 30 members on our steering committee. We have about 160 volunteers, all working to make our dream a reality.
Thank you. It really is indeed an honor for me to be here tonight. Some of you in this room know that I have a special connection to the city of Atlanta. My parents were both born in Georgia. I spent summers here as a child, and I also lived here in 1995 and 1996, and was lucky enough to work on the Atlanta Olympic Games. And also was lucky enough to be one of the founding members of the Atlanta Rainbow Trout, which is now one of the biggest and most successful gay swimming teams across the country. So I feel... Yay, Tom. I truly feel a special connection to the city of Atlanta, and even more so, I feel a connection to the gay games. When I finished my Olympic career in 1984, I really felt that I had to retire, because in my mind, being a gay man and being an athlete were mutually exclusive terms. They just could not coexist with each other. And I think a lot of people at that time, both gay and straight, felt the same way. And I went 6 years totally removed from swimming, did not participate, did not coach, did not swim masters or anything. And then in 1990, I heard about this thing called the Gay Games, and they were being held in Vancouver, Canada. Had no idea what I was getting myself into. I thought this would just be some little competition, no big deal, a lot of fun, a party, good excuse to go to Vancouver and nothing more. And when I came back, I really was a changed person. And I think if you talk to anybody who's competed in the gay games in any way, shape, or form, they'll tell you the same thing. Because what I found was, for the first time in my life, the athlete side of me and the gay side of me came together as one, and it made a huge, huge difference in how I was as a person, going forward. It made a difference in my career and my personal relationships. It was very empowering. And there are thousands and thousands of gay men and lesbians out there just like me who've competed in the gay games, and it's changed their life. I really think Atlanta, I've actually lived in some of the other cities that are bidding, but my heart is still in Atlanta. I think there's no better city for 2006 as the games move forward and move to a new level to host the games. There's no better city than Atlanta. As you've heard tonight, you have terrific venues. You have a history of staging major international Olympic events. You've got a cultural legacy and a social legacy that are undeniable. But I think what it all comes down to at the end of the day, and what I see when I look around this room, is the commitment and the enthusiasm of the people in this city. And that's, I think, what's going to come through when the team that goes to Johannesburg and makes the bid gets up there and puts on its show. And that's what's really going to tip the scales in our favor. So I want you to know that I consider myself an honorary Atlantan, if you'll let me do that. And I am 110% committed to the games coming to Atlanta in 2006. And if there's anything that I can personally do in the meantime, that I can put this gold medal to work in some good way, I hope you'll let me do it. So thank you again for letting me come tonight and speak to you, and best of luck to all of us going forward and getting the games. Thank you.
We will invite them to reach beyond traditional limitations and international boundaries.